Hello everyone. In the series of Learning Database Management System, our today's topic is triggers in SQL. So today we are going to discuss about triggers, what are the syntax, how we have to define this trigger, advantage of triggers, disadvantage of triggers, then restrictions about the triggers. So let's start with the definition. A trigger is a stored procedure in database which automatically invokes whenever a special event in the database occur. So stored procedures are already defined in the previous lecture videos. So any stored procedure will have a execution body. So triggers are just like stored procedures. And what is the advantage? We can give the event at what time or when I want this trigger to invoke. So as soon as that event will occur, I don't have to call it. It will invoke automatically. For example, a trigger can be invoked when a row is inserted into a specified table or when a certain table column are being updated. So automatically the trigger can be invoked. We have made the procedure, we have created a trigger, we kept it, and when certain event will occur, that time it will be automatically invoked. Okay, so this is the syntax of the trigger. If you can see, we have to write create or replace. So if already a trigger present, then your replace will work. Otherwise create will work. Then we have to give the keyword trigger, and then we can give the trigger name, whatever name we want to give. So this particular line will create or replace the existing trigger with the trigger name what you want to give. Then you have to mention before or after. This specify when the trigger will be executed. You want it before that particular action is happening or after. So this is specify at what time you want this trigger to be executed. Insert, update, delete, this specify the DML operation on the basis of which you want to invoke the trigger. On table name, this specify the name of table associated with the trigger, on which table you want to apply this trigger. For each row, this specify a row level trigger, that is, the trigger will be executed for each row being affected. And at last we have trigger body. So this will provide the operation to be performed when trigger is fired. So when trigger is fired, what we that trigger will do, all those code, all those statements we will write in trigger body. Next, another important point with trigger is old and new. They are MySQL extension for trigger. They are not case sensitive. You can write old and new in small letters also. Within a trigger body, the old and new keyword enable you to access the columns in the row affected by the trigger. So let us suppose I want to insert. So what I can do, I can write new dot column name. So basically it's an extension. So this dot operator will come and I can refer the column as if the new row we are inserting, so we will call it as new dot column name. Then if I want to update, so in update trigger you can use old dot column name to refer the column which is before updation, and after updation you can use new dot column name to refer the column. Similarly, if I want to delete, so in a delete trigger, only old dot column name can be used because the value is already deleted. We don't have anything new. So in case of delete, we will use old dot column name. So they are extension. When we will use programming for trigger, it will be more clear. Next is advantages of trigger. Now, first thing, integrity of the data. So we can check the integrity of data in a table. It helps us to maintain integrity constraint in the database table, especially when primary key and foreign key constraints are not defined. So triggers are helpful in maintaining the integrity of data. Another is alternative way to run scheduled task. Now, we do not have to wait to run the scheduled task. As soon as certain event is happening, my trigger will invoke automatically before or after the modification is done in the data in the table. If it is on insert, as soon as I'm inserting something, my trigger will be invoked. If it is on delete, when I will delete the row, my trigger will be invoked. So I don't have to wait and call for it. Next is auditing. They are very much useful for the purpose of auditing of the changes made in the table. So basically what happens is, it help in maintaining the track of all the changes, whether you are updating or deleting or inserting. So whatever occurs in the table through insertion or updation, the changes value, the changed value will be kept in an audit table by the triggers. So it helps in auditing also. Then logging of event, it can log an event and also store the information on the access of the table, who accessed the table when. That also is maintained in the table, so you can check all those data efficiently. Next is disadvantages of trigger. The cost of creation of trigger can be more on the table on which frequency of all these DML operation, insert, delete and update, uh, like bulk insert is high. So whenever we are using excessively these triggers, it will become costly. The complex code is written in the trigger, then it will slow down the performance of application. So it is another drawback, that it is very much degrade the performance if we are using it excessively. They are hard to debug since they are difficult to view as compared to stored procedures, views, functions, etc. See, the main problem why they are hard to maintain, because there is a possibility that new developer doesn't able to know about the trigger, because if the trigger is defined, no wonder how data is inserted, updated automatically, it's not visible to the client application, right? So until and unless you don't know that on the there is a trigger which is automatically updating, it is hard to maintain and debug. Next is excessive use of triggers can also slow down the performance on application. So triggers impose a high load on database server if we will use it frequently. So generally it is not recommended for high velocity of data, the place where continuously something is inserting or deleting, some event is happening. For all those situations, triggers are not advisable. Last, we have restrictions on the trigger. So first restriction is only one trigger for each event. So each table can have only one trigger for each event. Means I cannot have two before time event on the same table or two after time event on the same table. Return statement is not permitted. My trigger will never return anything. So here we cannot use return statement. Foreign key restrictions are also not activated. Triggers don't activate foreign key actions, so they are also not permitted. Cannot use call statement. A trigger cannot be called. It will invoke automatically. Cannot create a temporary table or a view. So basically, because it's not allowed in view, so it cannot create a temporary table also. In the coming lecture, we will see practical example how to create a trigger and how it works with SQL. So this is it for this session. Thank you very much.